Okay.
Mouth
just do
stays
this.
in one location.
Yeah.
The rest of your head moves.
Just move the mic. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe not.
No, don't move the mic.
But what did you do?
Stop touching it.
It started tipping over. I'm like, okay, hold on. No, it's not that. It's right here.
Yeah, this whole stand, it moves, Bo.
Okay. There we go.
Stop touching it.
Warning, this is an adult-oriented podcast about really perverse things like communication and consent. If you are under 18 and looking for answers to questions about sex or kink, please visit scarletteen.com. For the Dude Bro listeners, this is the nerdy shit. Fuck off!
From Bakersfield to Mount Olympus, Gotham Press talks naughty business. Sexual topics to explore your whoredom. Good if you're new or a kinky Yoda. Gotham Press Podcast. The dirty kinksters your parents warned you about.
Wait, he's the bossy one?
I didn't say he's the bossy one. I just said he's so bossy.
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
You see? Bless you.
Bless you. Well, with that, all the bossiness. Hey, welcome back, Gothamites, to the Gotham Press Podcast. This is your captain, Captain Awesome 82, who has...
We might have to
allergies.
redo that one because Bo is sniffing into the microphone.
Oh, no. We're keeping this in. This is all going in. Yes. So, I guess we'll start right off with who else I have here. So, we have a first-timer here. First-timer, long-time listener, one of the Patreon subscribers. Who are you, good sir?
I is Bo-Sub.
You is Bo-Sub?
I am Bo-Sub.
I was like, this is not a Song of the South, sir. You are Bo-Sub.
The one and only Bo-Sub.
The one and only.
only.
One and only. How long have you been Bo-Sub?
Excuse me?
How long have you been Bo-Sub?
Since I joined. 4 years.
There you
You
go.
never changed your name?
Nope.
Wow.
I mean, well, I can't even say that because when I originally joined, I think I was just a guy or just a guy say STL, something like that. I was some generic name,
Yeah.
and then I moved to a still generic name.
Generic fuckboy name.
Yes, I am generic fuckboy 3.
I think that might be my new pet name. Generic fuckboy 3.
Well, what's your current name? Who am I speaking with?
My name is Not Your Princess.
Oh, the princess has returned.
Yes, she has.
The princess is no longer in another castle.
I know. She's currently in the headquarters castle.
All right. And then we have one more person. That guy
Who? What was that? Oh, yeah.
who provided us power at some
The
point.
Power Daddy.
Power Daddy, also known as Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget. There we go. That's the name I say. Not that other one.
What was that one again?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Come on, Captain. I know you know.
Say it.
You can say it once.
Say it.
Say it.
Say it.
Say it.
Spell
you
it
know
out.
you want to.
How's it spelled?
No, I won't even do that.
You know you want to.
We'll get you to say it one of these days.
Listeners, you see what I have to put up
Power Daddy. Say it.
with? So, listeners, these are the things that your captain has to put up with every month.
Every week.
Every day.
Day, hour, minute.
So, for those of you who don't know, if this may be your first time, I do a little bit in the local community, and people say that I do so very much.
Not enough.
All I do is I just show up at things, and that's it. Now, the things I show up at, I usually host, but I just show up at things. So now we've got our voices. We have Bo-Sub, we have the princess, and we have Inspector Gadget, and your captain. Also, listeners, thank you for supporting us. Our patrons are amazing, and you could also be a patron of our podcast by going to patreon.com/Gotham Press Podcast. Hey, Bo-Sub,
Yes.
how long have you been a patron?
2-3 years, something like that.
And has it been worth it to you?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Oh, that's right. You get the episodes a whole week early,
I sure do.
and you enjoy that early, don't you?
Yep.
All right. Good times. Let's see. So, as a patron, that means you listen often. Do you know who our sponsors are? Any of them?
Let's do Carmilla the First.
Carmilla the First? Man, she's amazing, right?
It sure is.
Oh, man. I was trying to get her on. I couldn't get a hold of her for this month. I'm going to try to get her next month. I was so mad she got sick last time, couldn't make it. But we will get her on here eventually so she can shill out all of her amazing, almost orgasmic even, content. Let's see, who else do we got both up?
Let's see. We have a local flog maker.
Local flogger maker. Oh, did you mean Thief's Touch?
Sure did.
Thief's Touch. You know what's funny? We were at a event here this past Friday, the Dungeon Social, which is a new event here in town. And one of the goers, their flogger started literally falling apart as they were flogging.
Oh, no.
What?
But I was there with two of my Thief's Touch floggers. I'm like, here, try these out. Oh, man, his bottom loved them. She was like, we need to get new floggers.
Sure do.
Both of you look confused. Why are you looking so confused?
I must have missed that.
Yeah, I missed that too.
No, yeah, that's right. You guys had left by that time.
Oh, okay.
It was right. It was actually after things had officially ended, but that one person was waiting for his partner. It was his floggers.
Oh, gotcha.
Even I can say he doesn't actively listen, even though I keep telling him to. Hey, man about town, you need to get some new floggers.
Oh.
Wow. Man about town.
That's one way to call him out.
Right?
Yes.
Here's the thing. He won't know anything unless he actually listens to the podcast.
This is true.
Period.
Period. Dot. All right. Who else do we got? Do you remember both of
Let's see. JW Paddles.
JW Paddles? For those good exotic hardwoods that
I've had experience being used on me.
What was that? What was that giggle I just heard?
Exotic hardwoods.
I'm sorry, Princess. Have you used some exotic hardwood on somebody?
I have.
Who have you used it on?
Bow sub.
Both sub. Do you enjoy having that hardwood up against you?
I sure do. I love it.
Do they leave good marks?
They leave great marks.
Oh, not just good, great marks. So, listeners, if you are interested in a hardwood paddle for your toy bag, check out JW Paddles. That's jwpaddles.com. Let's see, who else? We got one more sponsor, one more. Steel Brat Passies. For those of you who are littles and you need that passy, you want a customized passy that really speaks it to you and your soul, check out Steel Brat Passies. Every passy is custom made and they stand 100% by their work. If something starts happening to it, if it starts falling apart for any reason, let Steel Brat know, and they will usually do their best to either repair or reimburse it. I'm sorry, not replace it. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, repair or replace.
Repair, replace. I'm like, reimburse, that's not the right word. Eventually, one day, I will learn how to use my words. Maybe I should get on the podcast so I'll learn how to talk.
Maybe one day.
One day.
One day when you grow up.
When is that going to happen again?
That day when I become a fully functional adult? Who knows? Yeah. Do we even have any of those in the world anymore?
It's debatable.
Yes, it is. So, listeners, if you want to know anything that we just talked about, you can find all that information in our show notes, which is on each and every episode at podbean.com/Gotham Press Podcast. Or no, GothamPress.podbean.com. I got so many websites in my head.
Yeah.
Really, wherever you listen to us at, because we are on Spotify, we're on Podbean, we're on Apple Music,
Apple Podcasts.
I don't have an iPhone, so I just know that we're on there. But more,
we're on your iPhone.
I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android.
I was talking to the listeners with iPhones.
Oh, because they're better.
No, because we're on their iPhone.
We are on their iPhone. Hi, listeners. I hope you're here.
Listeners.
I hope you're hearing this. Ooh, can you do that one more time?
Hi, listeners.
All right. And also, if you want to call us, talk to us, leave us a message, you can always reach us by calling Candy's Sweet Box at 805-303-1173. So, hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
So, first things first. How long? I've known all three of you for quite some time now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A little bit.
All right. So, all three of you are in some sort of configuration of some sort, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So, I know that Bo is the sub, and Inspector Gadget is not the sub.
No, not
So-
sub.
That's
So-
your new handle, not the sub.
Not the sub. Yeah.
All right. So it's you two, right? You two are in the relationship?
No.
Fine. Okay, so, but if she's a princess, she's not a sub. So she's your top?
Nope. Not my top.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Would he agree with that?
He better.
Oh,
Oh,
Maybe
my.
for wax.
For wax.
Among other things.
Wait.
Listeners, you didn't see the eye contact there, but man.
Listen, everything gets tested out
gotta test
between
it
the
out.
two of us before it gets used on anybody else.
When we say anybody else, you mean both sub, right?
Or
Well, no,
whoever wants to be a
sometimes-
victim.
Sometimes
Or
I
volunteer.
test on both
I get
sub
tested.
as well.
I get tested on too.
But usually when we get something new, we're both too excited to try it out, so we try it out on each other.
Okay, I get you. So the actual configuration, though. So both sub, you are the submissive of Princess here, yes?
Correct, I am.
That he is.
And Princess, you are the
Submissive.
submissive,
Princess,
the submissive princess, or princess,
etc.
etc., etc.,
etc.
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 of Inspector Gadget.
That's
Correct.
correct.
All right. So the relationships you all have, you are technically a hinge in this, yes?
Yes, because I have a connection with both of these lovely gentlemen.
Okay. Well, with all that out of the way, and here I am, Captain Awesome, not in that relationship at all. I'm just a friend.
He's just a joyful observer.
It's fun to watch. I'm not a voyeur at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Just had a real quick question for you guys. And I think I'm going to start doing this more often with my guests. What are your nerdy interests? Both up? What are your nerdy interests?
It depends. I mean, there's certain movies, reading, games.
Okay. So,
What kind of games?
Well, there's board games, D&D,
Okay.
Magic the Gathering, and then video. It just depends on what I feel like playing.
okay. What's the most recent video game you played?
Diablo 4.
Diablo 4. I have not touched Diablo 4. The only Diablo game I've ever played is actually Diablo 3.
I have that one also.
Yeah. I had Diablo 3 on, the day it dropped, and, went to go log in and had to wait like 8 hours before I could get in.
Because you had to download everything.
No, it was all downloaded.
Server was probably
Server-
down.
Server's down.
Servers were down that first day.
Ah.
Yeah. They weren't expecting the amount of people that had purchased the game to actually get on.
Oh, yeah.
That was silly of them.
So very silly. All right. So, Princess, how about you? What are your nerdy interests?
Well, reading, definitely.
Now, when you say reading, are you just talking about the smut? Is it the smut?
I love the smut, but I also I love a good mystery, and I also love fantasy. So really, I like all kinds of fiction. If it's well written, if it's an interesting story, then I'll probably read it. So if I don't narrow myself down to any particular genres other than like fiction as a genre. I don't typically read nonfiction, but I don't.
It's not off the
exclude
table.
it.
It's not off the
Yes,
table. It's just
not
not the
off
first thing.
table. It's just not my preference.
Okay, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. And what about you, Inspector Gadget? What's your nerdy preference?
Video games for sure.
Yep. What video game are you currently on?
Call of Duty.
Always.
He's
Yeah.
a COD person.
He is a COD
I am.
person.
Shane. No.
I have it too. I just haven't played it.
It's either Call of Duty or it goes into the Switch, and then it's like Mario and
Yeah,
all
we
the
just-
Wait,
old school-
you say Mario? That covers a whole.
yeah, pretty much all.
All of the Mario.
Any
Most
of the
Marios.
Marios.
Yeah, I think I have most of everyone that's out right now
Yeah,
or have been
we have-
released.
We have all the newer ones. We just don't have a lot of the older ones.
I just realized. Are we Switch friends?
No,
No.
Why are we not Switch friends?
I don't know.
I don't
should-
think we're Switch friends either.
Yeah, none of us are.
We need to fix.
We
We
need
need
to
to solve
fix
this
that.
problem.
We need to fix that today.
I love my Switch.
I haven't been on my Switch in a while because I've been on my PlayStation playing Final Fantasy 16.
Ah,
Trying to go
yes.
through that.
16.
16.
Oh, I don't have. I'm still playing the.
That's the latest Final Fantasy that's out. Is 16.
When did that one come out?
Last year, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was funny. I was watching. This was like a month ago. I want to say. I was watching something on YouTube, and the main character from 16 is going to be a guest character in a fighting game. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, 16. I need to beat that. So I popped that in and started playing. I'm like, okay. So I'm kind of rushing through it, but just still enjoying it so far.
I mostly play cozy games.
So you're like an Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, Dreamlight Valley. I
was going to say Stardew Valley.
I haven't played Stardew Valley, but I just started Fae Farm, which I've been enjoying.
What is Fae Farm?
It's similar to Animal Crossing. It's very similar to Animal Crossing. So if you like Animal Crossing, then you'll probably like Fae Farm. But you are on, an island that is somewhat magical. That's the only difference, is there's like a magical element to the
to the Fae?
To the Fae Farm.
All right, so my question is, what kind of Fae are you farming?
You're not farming the Fae. But I think there are Fae on the island. And so you're farming
with them.
Okay. Around them, near them.
They're helping you.
Hold on. Is this like with Animal Crossing, you're all in service to Tom Nook? So do you have a Tom Nook?
The Overlord Tom Nook.
Yes. Like, do you have a Tom Nook version of a character in this Fae Farm game?
Not exactly per se. There is the mayor. So there's a mayor of the town.
That's seeming very Tom Nook already.
Mayor Merritt is her name. But then you have all these other characters. There's a lot of other characters. There's way more characters in Fae Farm than there are in Animal Crossing, and the island is much bigger and has different districts to it.
Okay.
So you have like your homestead, which is like a whole area, and you're clearing the land and you're planting crops and you're doing all of that good stuff. Mm-hmm. But then you also have some seaport areas where you can fish. You also have, and there's characters in each of those. And then you have some, town center areas. And then you have some livestock areas where you can go and get their versions of livestock animals.
Their versions of livestock.
So they have like a chicken that's called a chiku. And
Chicken and a cow?
No, it looks like a chicken, but it's called a chiku. And they have a...
Kind of like in Zelda, how there are cuckoos, not chickens.
Yes,
yeah, that's true.
Exactly. And then there's like a bunny-sheep hybrid animal.
They just want to make it more fluffy? Is that what they're doing?
It's very fluffy, but it also has the bunny ears, but it has a long tail. It's very interesting.
They were just trying to take all the cute factor for everything and roll it onto one.
Yes, they were like, how do we make this a very, like, take all the cute elements from different animals and put it on one animal?
Okay, and so that's on the Switch, yes?
Yes, that's on the Switch. I think you can also do it on PC as well.
All right, well, and I asked that because our next thing here that I have in the list, who knew that they were coming out with the Switch 2?
Yep.
I just found that out a couple weeks ago.
I saw a few ads for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so... I love Nintendo. I've loved Nintendo for years. Come up with a better name, not just Switch 2.
Right.
That's the same thing. Like, hey, here's the Wii. Now here's the Wii U.
Yeah.
It's like there are better names. I get it. All the other systems are, Xbox One, Xbox 360, all that stuff.
Yeah.
PlayStation's
Xbox
still
is something
the same.
weird.
Yeah, PlayStation's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Right, and that's how they've been. Nintendo has actually come up with different names usually. Yeah. So
well, because I think they're different. They have more differences to them. Mm-hmm. So, like Wii versus Wii U. Wii U had a screen, the first individual tablet screen, right? So,
which was really cool.
That was almost like the first version of the Switch.
Which is true, yeah.
Right?
They like, hey, instead of having a whole thing, just make that the whole thing.
But they had Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, right? True. So they had the Game Boy series that all were Game Boys.
Right, and then the DS and all that.
And then the DS,
okay,
right?
Okay, maybe, look, see, this is the problem with getting old. You have that nostalgia thing where you think you're right about everything.
Yes.
Back in my day, I remember when you had to get up and push the button to turn on your system. It wasn't all lazy kids give me the remote and just turn it on
And
that
you
way.
had to move the rabbit ears to exactly the right position.
You gotta blow in the cartridge to make it work.
Which
Slam it down.
Did you know that on the actual cartridge it says not to do that?
Yeah, but it's bullshit.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
exactly. We all know that works.
We all know it works.
We, had this
Or you have
convers-
to-
we were having this conversation
Or you
last
have to
night.
tap it on
Right.
something to get it to work.
Exactly. You know, you weren't breaking it; you were fixing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were literally had this conversation last night.
Yeah. we
Oh.
were.
Yeah.
Wait, how did that come about?
We
well-
left GameStop.
You're
were
a
at GameStop.
Wait, you were buying Nintendo games from
We
Game?
were.
actually.
We were buying Nintendo games, and we also, because we bought the new Kirby game, and I bought Fae Farm, and then we also bought a Kirby mug. But we were talking about his next Inspector Gadget's next tattoo as well.
Is it gonna be Kirby?
Or I have that one.
He has a Kirby tattoo already.
Do you? Oh yeah, you do. Wow. I don't know how I've never noticed that. Oh, because it's underneath your sleeve. That's
yeah.
why I've never noticed.
I haven't stripped down for you lately.
No, his next tattoo is going to be a Nintendo cartridge.
I thought it was going to be.
It's both.
Oh, we're going to both.
Yeah, he's getting
Okay.
both.
So what's funny is I'm thinking Nintendo cartridge just in that area above his penis.
Similar vibe.
Similar vibe.
Similar
but
vibe.
Nah.
It is going to say blow me,
Well, yes.
But not there.
but not there.
Missed-
But that's
missed
why we were
opportunity.
talking about that. And then one of my friends sent a video, like an Instagram reel or whatever, where it was talking about, whenever my Nintendo Nintendo game freezes, and then it's a guy playing a pan flute,
Oh,
but they put the cartridge over the pan flute. And
Yeah.
So it's like,
you got to make it work somehow.
and I was like, yep, that shit worked.
Yeah.
Got to blow it just right.
Oh, yeah.
And if the blowing didn't work, then you did rubbing alcohol, and that worked.
I do like this new Switch 2 coming out, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the look of it. I like
It looks
the
sleek.
click in rather
Instead
than
of the slide down. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the buttons are bigger, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Right?
My
They're-
only... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the buttons are definitely bigger, right? So it's not as, for people who have big hands, you're not going like, what the hell is this little tiny ass controller? Right. So that's going to be a bonus.
So, listeners, if you didn't catch, Inspector Gadget has big hands.
He does. Can confirm.
So can't confirm that apparently.
My only potential concern of the new, like the click-in controllers, because I think it's magnetic.
Is it magnetic?
Magnetic, and there's actually like an interface
Is
to
there
each one.
something to hold each one in?
Yeah.
Because
Yes, yeah, there is.
what
Yes,
if
there
I'm
is.
holding it and then I
No,
accidentally
there's-
pull
You
one
have to.
out?
I think
There's a release.
you have to release.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just
okay,
like
good.
instead of switching or clicking downwards, they just pull apart from
Yeah.
the buttons.
They think of everything.
Which this means, well, no, it's actually going to be worse. I just thought about this. Because how many times, I'm sorry, I don't know. Have you all had the instance where you slid them in upside down?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've done that.
How often is
before.
somebody going to accidentally click it in the
Yeah.
right way?
I wonder if
If the
hopefully
way it
they're
looks the way
keyed.
they have them set up, you won't be able to.
I hope so. But, well, here's the thing. They thought that with the Switch, and yet humans find a way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this one
We
here,
always
it's just a
find
little
a
bit
way.
bigger. Plus, it has its own kickstand on it too.
I like the larger kickstand. I really do
Yeah.
like that.
I like the larger screen too. I think that's
It's bigger than the OLED for sure.
Yeah.
By like about half an inch.
So, listeners, we are all size queens for Nintendo.
And plus, you can still play your old Switch games on it.
Listen, I'm blind, so I need to have everything larger so that I can see it.
Larger than your face is what I'm hearing.
Yes, I mean not in my face because I'm farsighted, but I need to be able to read it. So the screen needs to be able to support that.
Of proper size.
Yes, I need a proper size. You heard it here first.
As I look over to Inspector Gadget to see what his reaction to that is.
The perfect size.
There you
I don't
go.
know what you're talking about.
Oh, there you go.
Directly from the horse's mouth. There you go.
I'm a horse.
I mean, you like
You added an
horses.
extra letter to that word.
He had the wrong letters to that. It was a shore. She's a shore now.
Yeah.
No,
wrong letter still.
wrong letter still. That had all the same letters. Horse and shore have all the same letters.
They do.
Yep.
Yes, we just need one different one. Mm-hmm. We'll figure it out eventually.
Yes.
Maybe before the end of the podcast, maybe next time. We'll figure it out. I'll just randomly say, I know the word.
Right. If any of you listeners out there figure out the right word,
you can call Candy's Sweet Box. And,
call Candy's Sweet Box.
And let us know.
And let us know that you figured it out. Yep. And we'll tell you what a good boy, girl, they, them you are.
You know what? We'll even have Princess tell you personally.
I will happily respond to your message in Candy's Sweet Box.
So if you're looking for that, that's going to be 805-303-1173.
Do it.
And you can also leave comments on Patreon.
Oh, yes. If you're a patron, you can leave comments on our Patreon. We have, each episode goes up once a month, and we are welcome. We love to see comments on them. Bo, have you left comments?
I think on one I did.
Only one?
Yeah, because usually I have to talk to you after that, so.
But see, yes, you talked to me directly, but the other listeners haven't heard your thoughts.
I got to remember that.
You do. All right, so we'll set a reminder for you. Let's see here. What's next? Okay, so this is something that I saw, and I just had to ask, why so many sequels that are like years removed?
20 years later?
This one's almost 30 years later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, almost 30. I think it's 29 years this year for Happy Gilmore 2. Why? Who was asking for this?
No one.
I don't know.
Like when I was
Maybe Adam Sandler was.
possibly. Well, my thing is,
It's probably Shooter McGavin.
who is in the movie?
He was in the movie.
Yep, he is.
Yeah. So, because I remember when I was in high school, and I saw Happy Gilmore. Oh, this is funny. This is great. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, really, Happy? Do we need more of this? And I don't think it's for the younger kids because
No.
they don't. I don't think they vibe with Adam Sandler like that. Well, no. I'm sorry. Only the ones that are watching like the kid movies that he does. That he does voiceovers for.
Yeah, I think. I mean, there's always a big surge of nostalgia, right? Which is, I think, been a trend in general for the last several years of just bringing back all of the things from the young, for the elder millennials.
Yeah.
And, because we are the
ones that have money now.
The ones that have, well, we know because that's still
It still doesn't exist, but yeah.
The boomers still have all the money, but we have more adult money now.
Yes, we can actually go. We can take ourselves to the movies.
We can take ourselves to the movies and not sneak in our own snacks.
I would never do such a thing.
No, I don't know what you're
What
talking
is that?
about.
No idea what you're talking about.
I've never done that in my life.
So what's funny is when I go to the movies, and not trying to I actually do go to movies and I like actually buy concessions because I'm like, you know what? It's part of the experience for me.
It is.
Like I go in, I get my nachos, I get my popcorn, I get my soda, and I'm good.
Also, if you're looking to support that theater, especially if it's a local theater, they don't make the money from the box office.
They do not. They make all the money from
concessions.
Yeah.
So if you want to support your local movie theater, that is the best way to do it. As a former movie employee.
Message.
Message. Ding, ding.
All right. So, so there's Happy Gilmore 2 coming out. And then they're going to do a reboot of Little House on the Prairie.
Why?
I read the books when I was little.
I didn't even know they were based.
I
didn't even know they were based off of books.
Yeah,
honestly.
they were originally based off books.
Oh, Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Yeah.
What
She
an
was good.
icon.
She was good.
But here's the thing. As a child, I saw Little House on the Prairie on TV.
Yeah.
But I didn't even watch it. I was like, it would be on like, oh, there's nothing good on.
In the background.
Because, no, not even in the background. It's like, oh, Little House on the Prairie. Who watches that? And I switched to something else. That's back in the day when I had to actually physically get up and go to the TV to change channels.
Like,
right.
Where's the demand for this?
Exactly.
Right.
Well,
again, this is a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, and it's also is because it looks like Westerns are starting to make a comeback again, too.
Are they?
Yeah. This is going to be the third one coming out.
Okay, you got to educate me. I had no idea that
Netflix, because this is coming out on Netflix.
Okay.
And Netflix has already done 2 movie series, and they've both been big hits so far.
Which are?
First one I can't remember. The second one's American Primal.
American Primal. That sounds
Well,
like...
there's also Yellowstone.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yellowstone.
yeah, Yellowstone.
1849 or something like that, or 1863, and then 1923. I can't remember.
I have no
I
idea
have
what
no
you're talking
idea
about.
what that is.
Those are
like
those are the prequels,
prequel,
basically,
yeah.
of Yellowstone. Which are
prequels.
also big hits on Paramount Plus. But on the Little House, one of the producers, his dad was the original executive producer.
on Little House
Little
on
House
the
on the Prairie.
Okay, so that I can get. He wants to do it because, hey, I want to show my dad that I know what I'm doing. I don't think it's like that, but you get what I'm saying. I'm just like...
And what I've read, he wants to keep it within like it was originally.
Okay, here's my other thing though. Does the audience for that exist right now? Because
That's
I this is going to make me sound old. Yes, kids, you can say whatever boomer or whatever the kids say. God, I feel old. But seriously, what kids these days are actually going to be paying attention to Little House on the Prairie? Because Little House on the Prairie, to my understanding, was a show for children. Yes.
no.
No, it was
was
a
not.
book series for
The
children.
book series
It was
of children,
Well, I'm saying, yeah, book series. The show was based off of the book series. Yes.
but the
But
series
the
was not
show
for children.
Wasn't for children.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't know. It wasn't in my wheelhouse of things to watch.
Because see, here's the thing: the books were released in the 30s and 40s,
Okay.
1930s and 40s. I should specify.
Yeah, not 1830s.
The 1930s and 40s was when the books were published.
Okay.
And so the show, the TV series,
Yeah.
by the time that was being released, the first generation of kids who read those books were adults.
Were the producers for the show?
Well, they were watching the show. They were the target audience for the
Oh,
show. Were
okay.
the people who enjoyed the books as kids.
Gotcha.
And then they've had multiple, right? These books have had multiple resurgences among kids. I read them as a kid, and obviously I was born way after they came out.
Just a tad bit.
But they are a timeless, classic children's series, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm gonna say you say timeless.
I mean, because they still are readable.
They're still
for
being
kids,
published.
right? And
Okay.
They're still republishing them.
Well,
Okay.
they're still enjoyable for children, right? They're still books that kids can read and enjoy.
Okay.
They're not so dated that you can't even read them, you know?
Okay.
So they're still very understandable. They're still very enjoyable for kids, the stories. And they're written in a way that is very, what's the word? They're written in a way
Accessible.
that's very accessible for children.
Okay.
And it still holds true. So, and I mean, again, when these books were being published, they were being published by an adult author writing about her own childhood. So by the time they were even being published, yes, they were
outdated, technically.
Outdated in terms of the content. But I don't think that again, that Western, right, sort of frontier, American frontier sort of genre ever really goes out of style.
I mean,
per se.
It does, but it comes back eventually.
It comes back around regularly.
Like it's doing right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like with
So we'll see what happens on
shows
this
and-
one.
We'll see how long it lasts. Maybe this is the
Well,
time where it never goes away again.
They redid Anne of Green Gables, the same thing, right? Anne with an E, on Netflix.
Again, a thing I know of, but it was not my thing.
Also a children's book series from a long time ago.
Right. Again, but when I was a kid, I was reading Goosebumps. So
Right. yeah.
Right, but again, these are much older book series.
right.
Same thing with Anne of Green Gables, based in the Canadian frontier instead of the American frontier.
See, I didn't even know it was Canadian.
Yes, Anne of Green Gables is set in Canada, and there was either a movie or a TV series.
I think it was a
remember.
TV series on PBS originally.
On PBS, yeah. And then Anne with an E came out several years back on Netflix, and that show was a big hit.
So Anne
or three
with
seasons.
Anne
It's
with
called
an E
Anne with an E.
is based on Anne of Green.
It's Anne of Green Gables.
Oh, see, I wouldn't even have thought about that with that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a very similar concept that they did with Anne of Green Gables, and they're just doing it again with Little House on the Prairie.
Okay. Again, things I don't. This is why I do this podcast, to be educated.
I was not expecting to give a sermon on children's literature today, but as
Praise be
as
to
your
the princess.
resident literature major, you're welcome.
Thank you. And here's my last thing in this particular section. Why are they rebooting Pirates of the Caribbean?
Technically, it's not a reboot yet.
It's going to be a reboot.
If he doesn't come back.
No, he's already said he's not coming back for it.
But because if you read the article, it's still it's up in the air.
Do you think he? Well, I understand the cash grab thing for it, but do you think he's going to do that? I mean, because at this point, it's basically he said he's not coming back. I get it. Hey, yay! It made Disney a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But that was because it had
Johnny Depp
and
Orlando Bloom.
That's not his name. His name is Legolas. Thank you very much.
I know that, but Legolas. Yeah. Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley, yeah. So it had them, and that they had that particular magic between, and Jeffrey Rush.
True.
Yeah, they had that particular magic. If none of them come back,
And Stellan Skarsgård. And Stellan Skarsgård.
you're saying a name, but it's not ringing any bells in my head.
He was Bootstrap Bill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I had no clue.
If you saw him, you would be like, "Oh, I know that guy."
Yeah.
I think she may have a thing for that guy.
No, he. I mean, he's just in so many things. He's in Mamma Mia. He's
Never
in.
saw it.
Wow, that's
Keep going.
your loss.
Keep going.
He's just in a lot of things, and he's always good in them. But he also has 2 children who are also very famous actors, Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, Bill. I was say Bill Skarsgård sounds. Yeah.
And also, what is his name? What's the other one's name? That's pretty.
Listeners, we know that you're screaming, but we can't hear you yet.
I know,
right
I'm
now.
blanking on it. I'm so sorry. He was in True Blood.
I only watched one. I didn't watch the whole first season of True Blood. I was just like, well, this is.
It's a great show.
I got to the point where I saw, I think it was the bum guy around town turned into a dog or something like that. I was like, okay.
No, the bar owner turns into a dog.
Oh, okay. The bar owner. It's been years since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I think I watched the first season when the second season had come out,
Oh, wow.
and I was like, not for me.
That's fair. But it is a fantastic show.
Yeah. I've heard that the first 2 seasons are really good, and then when they introduced fairies, it kind of fell off the rails.
A little bit. I think that was always part of the plan because they had to explain the main character, Suki, and
She's
her
a fairy,
abilities.
right?
Suki.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's part fairy.
Yeah.
So,
So,
all I know is like, Suki.
Yeah, but I agree. Is why they're going to do a reboot?
yeah, that's a little
It should
silly.
have been. It should have been finished on the last one.
It should have been, but also, I get. Hey, they want more money, but my thing is, you don't need to reboot this. It's not so old that
That's
it
the
needs a
thing.
reboot.
The first
Yeah.
one came out not even
2003?
25 years
Yep.
ago. Yeah.
Did you say not even 5 years ago?
Not even 25.
Oh, right,
2003 was the first one. I believe.
right. And
Yes,
when did
2003.
the last one come out?
2017.
Okay, so less than a decade ago.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no need for a reboot for that right now.
No.
I mean, there should be just keep going, right? Add one more to it. And
I think if they continued the story, or if they spun and talk about a different character, focus on a different character.
Exactly. That's one thing. Like, you don't have to reboot. You can say, "Hey, this is in that same universe."
Right.
That way they can easily make
I mean,
references
Marvel
to
and
things that
DC
happen.
have been doing that for years.
well,
Here's
Decades.
well, here's the thing with
conversation
DC
there.
though.
Yeah.
DC has I'm not a person that can say this and have any sort of clout with it, but they failed. DC failed very heavily in their movies.
yes, they have.
Well, but I mean, I was just referring to the number of times they've redone and redone
Gotcha.
the same
Gotcha,
things,
gotcha.
right?
You mean like in the comics and things like that?
Well, because not even in the comics, but it started with the comics, but then there's been how many Batmans over the years, you know?
This is true. Every generation has their Batman.
Exactly. Well, multiple in some cases.
Yes, this is true. Multiple in some
we have
cases.
like 3.
Yeah, we have like 3 because we have Christian Bale and we have our Pats and we have
My first one was Michael Keaton. So
No, what's the
Ben Affleck.
Affleck.
Wait,
yeah.
did you say your first one was Michael Keaton? That was not your first
Well,
one.
we have
No,
four,
actually,
'cause
no, mine
technically
was,
you have
sorry.
You were Adam West.
West,
so-
Adam West, yeah.
Yeah, you were Adam West.
Plus, you have Keaton within Flash. So technically, we have
Right.
4.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's
And
right.
just from our span of
True.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a lot of building upon the same universe, right? So there's a lot of things that fall within the DC universe, and even if you go back even further, you have the Batman cartoon, right? That's the TV show,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Kevin Conroy is my Batman.
Exactly. So it's like you have all of these different iterations within the same universe. You can continue to do that. You know, you don't have to constantly be rebooting things. It can be a continuation from the same universe,
And you know what? Actually,
especially in a fantasy universe.
actually, with that, we're going to skip ahead a little bit because you just brought up a perfect thing that goes with one of our listener suggested topics, which is actually about DC and their new initiative called All In, where when I saw this and I read, I'm like, oh my God, it's basically they're doing the Ultimate Universe that Marvel did.
Oh boy.
So
yeah, that's what the article hinted at it.
yeah, it's like, all right, because in Marvel, you had the mainline Marvel universe that had been the same, not the same, but similar since 60s?
Since basic creation.
Yeah, since the creation of Marvel. And so in the early 2000s, they brought in the Ultimate Universe, which, hey, this is happening alongside the main 616 universe. These are brand new stories with brand new versions of the heroes that you love and enjoy. And it's like, okay, and it took off really well for most of them, not all of them.
Yeah, there's got a couple that,
Yeah, that's what I said, most of them. But so now DC is like, oh, you know what? Marvel did that 25 years ago. Let us do it now.
Better late than never, right?
DC tried something before that, though, too.
That was
bombed.
52. What was it? The New 52? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that went over like a lead shell dropping into the ocean.
Yeah.
It just sank and sank, and I know many comic book fans that just could not stand a lot of the New 52. Yeah, but we'll see what happens because the New 52. What the New 52 did was it erased officially everything that happened before. It's like, hey, all that stuff that you grew up and you know and you love, none of that matters anymore. It's not there. This is all you have now, and it's like and everybody's like, but no, I like my old stories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't scrap the old stuff.
I mean, you can try to. If it's bad, you can scrap it.
Yeah.
You know, retcons are a thing for a reason, but you can't scrap the entire world that you've built.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that really much of a fan of DC because of that. But this All-In seems like they might be able to pull it off. Might.
I'm just hoping that they don't go, all right, it's a darker universe and everything is emo now.
Well, I mean, what I read, they're basing it off of Dark Side Energy.
Yeah, Darkseid being the not the catalyst, but the energy source for the universe, whereas Superman is supposed to be the real power behind the current DC universe. So I am kind of curious how they're going to do that, because that does mean that everything's going to be a little bit darker, a little bit sadder, right?
Yeah.
Either that or they're going to make Darkseid really, really happy, and it's going to be really, really weird. Could you imagine? Yes, I am here to end your lives.
Oh.
God.
No.
No. Definitely not. All right. So let's see here. Let's go back up to where were we at? See, we talked about the pirates and all that. Okay, so listeners, we're gonna get a little heavy for just a little bit. I'm not apologizing because these are things that need to be said. We need to talk about the political elephant that's in the room. The Cheeto. The Cheeto. Okay, so I'm not a fan.
Nope.
Also, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Not even what the fuck, how to get voted back in. I've come to terms with that. I know how it happened, why it happened. Stupid, but it happened. My thing is, right now, he is obviously, at least in my opinion, obviously coming after the LGBT community. And my fear is that once he does that, because as it's been said in many articles and many things I've seen, There's nobody to really stop him right now. Once he's finished with that, how long until he comes for the kink community? How long before he comes for the minorities? Things of that nature.
I mean, he's already started the minorities.
I get that, but I'm saying how long before he comes in earnest for it? Like, hey, yeah, I am actively saying I don't like people that aren't my tone.
I mean, it's not a far stretch from where we're already at.
I don't like that.
I mean, it's just the unfortunate truth of what we're dealing with right now. If you look at history where this has happened before, it was a very short step from one to the next, before we start blaming all of our problems on one group.
Yeah.
The problem is that I don't see him blaming all of his problems on one group. He's blaming it on multiple groups. And
I mean, he's been blaming a lot of problems historically on a specific group more than others, which is immigrants.
Right, that's true.
Right, specifically non-white immigrants, because he doesn't seem to have as much of an issue with white immigrants, just non-white immigrants.
Yeah.
And that has been a huge issue as well. That's already gotten worse than it was the first time around. So, I mean, it's targeted at multiples. It's really any minority group is sort of not safe at this point.
I mean, I was like, after the accident that happened earlier this week, the plane crash and the helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
He's blaming that on diversity.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, what? Why?
How can he blame that? Because a control,
The controller wasn't...
which is bull. They have to be knowledgeable with it. But the problem is one controller can't blame the
Right, 'cause from my understanding, for what I saw on it, it was that controller was supposed to have support with him, but he didn't.
The supervisor let one of them go.
Right. So it's like,
Right.
But I understand it's a tragedy. It's always a tragedy.
Yeah.
But you can't blame it on the single person that was doing his best to keep everything going.
Yeah.
Who shouldn't have been the only person responsible in that space.
Exactly.
I mean, air traffic controllers are highly regulated, very difficult jobs to get. I have actually done research on this because at one point I was looking into that as a potential career. But it is an extremely stressful job, and they put you through a lot of tests and a lot of rigorous training prior to you even being able to be up in that tower. And they have a lot of procedures in place to prevent these kinds of accidents from occurring because people's lives are at stake. And so, saying things are because of a DEI hire is a little silly because it's like, well, they had to make it through all of this training and all of these, this rigorous admission process to even get up into that position.
All right, real quick, just for listeners, DEI. I looked it up, and
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Equity. That's what I couldn't remember the E. Mm-hmm. I remember the diversity and inclusion. I just couldn't remember the E.
Yeah, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah, and then the DIA. The A is not acceptance. Accessibility. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Somebody will correct me, I'm sure. But still, my whole thing is, I'm afraid, but I'm not as afraid as some other people are right now, because it's not immediately affecting me.
He's going out right now. He's going after the transgenders.
Right.
Yes, the trans community is one of the targets.
Right.
In addition to our, Latina immigrants, or even just people who are Latina who were born here, but because
their parents weren't,
or even if they have been here for generations, they're brown, right? And so
they don't
they're
look like
not.
me.
Yeah, so they're not okay because they don't look like the
how he
people
wants them to
in
look.
power.
Yeah.
And how he wants everybody to look.
I was watching something on TikTok the other day, and they were talking about how back during World War II, a person whose parents had come over and had been working in America, on the rail yards, on the rail lines at that point. Had been good employees, had just been doing what they're supposed to do the entire time they were here. As soon as things kicked off for the war, they were suddenly put into camps. And I think this was a story from like their son. He saw this happen, and he had been born in America. He was American. Yep. And he just couldn't understand, why are my parents being put in these things? And I'm kind of scared that he's going to try to do some shit like that.
Oh, he's already done it.
No. I mean, I get that, but I'm saying, how far back down the line is he going to go?
Well, that's why they're trying to get rid of birthright citizenship.
Yeah.
That's why that's also on the chopping block, because, right, one of the ways that people will get around immigration and things like that is to have their children here, so that their children are automatically citizens.
And that's the thing. That's part of the reason that America is a thing.
Right. And so that's why that is something they're trying to figure out how to get rid of, tweak, change, etc., so that they can deport more people or put them into these detainment centers.
Yeah. They're trying to put everybody into why am I blanking on Guantanamo?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were talking about that. I heard about it
No,
this
they're
morning.
building more prisons.
Well, yeah, they're building more prisons.
This
but
is
they're
also a big cash grab for the prison industrial complex.
Oh, you mean America?
Yes.
Yeah. I am a proud American, but I am so sad about my country. Many days, many moments out of the day.
Especially right now.
All the time, it seems like, I feel like as an adult, as I've gotten older and older and things have gotten weirder and weirder for me, in terms of what I was taught and what I see happening, it has become very challenging to actually have any pride whatsoever in
being American,
being a citizen of this country, because what is there to be proud of right now?
I think I said this to somebody a couple weeks back. I was watching something. I watch too much TikTok.
As we all.
Those 12 hours it was down. I was like, man, I wonder what I'm going to do now.
I know.
But I saw a woman on there. She was talking about how she and her husband had gone to Germany for a trip. And everybody there's like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Because it's like the rest of the world is actually wondering, are we as Americans, the ones that are not rah, rah, we're America,
right?
Are we okay? Do we feel safe?
We don't. Please come help.
Right. Well, that was her whole thing. She was thinking like, I think I may need to like not go back home. I think I need to stay here now, because a lot of places are not just worried, but willing to help. Like, hey,
actively protesting.
Yeah, we see what's happening in your country, and it's not right.
Right.
I'm part of the problem here as someone that was raised in America, and all I knew was American values until I got old enough to start looking out into the rest of the world. It was, oh yeah, we're the greatest. We're the best country around. We got this, and we got this, and we got this.
Oh, yeah.
Other countries don't have this. Of course not. Countries don't have this. Until you look around like, oh, they do have that and better.
And more.
Yeah.
Well, as someone that wasn't born in the States.
Yeah, I remember.
I can say that. I mean, I'm not originally, was not born here in the States, born overseas.
Yeah.
But I've seen both sides, and I've seen what Europe, out of the U.S., it's better. Some areas, but most of it, better living, better lifestyle. It's the politicians here.
Yeah. The politicians are. I think politicians are a problem everywhere, but more so here.
It's not just the politicians, because if people didn't believe in what they were saying, they wouldn't get elected.
True.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate part, is we want to be able to blame it on a handful of individuals instead of saying, half the country, more than half the country is the problem. Has been brainwashed or whatever it is.
Indoctrinated. Brainwashed. Take your pick of words.
Yeah. Whatever word makes you feel the best. But
a lot of people, though, also look as like, you vote for one, it's that way. You vote for the other. It's the other way. It doesn't matter how you vote.
Nobody. There's no good choice to vote for. There's just the least worst choice.
Because ultimately the system is broken, and
And
it
has
was
been.
never it was never meant to cover this amount of people, right? I mean, if you think about when this country was founded, it was so small, and it was not a lot of people. And they were taking a lot of cues from a lot smaller European countries on how they were developing the democracy in this country. And they were learning from, philosophers and scholars, again, from much smaller countries that have, democratic systems that work because they are smaller in size.
And easier to...
It's easier to get a smaller number of people to agree on something than it is to get 300 plus million people to agree on something. So
literally a continent.
literally in almost, half a continent of people, it's really hard to get them all to be on the same page and believe the same things. It's just not logical to believe that you could do that. And that's why, most countries are not this size.
They are not.
Most countries in the world are significantly smaller than even some of the states in this country. And they have their own governing systems that work for them, and they're able to make changes. That's the other part. It's easier to create change when you have fewer people to get on board with the change.
That's true.
Versus 300
everybody,
plus million.
Everybody in this country right now, you're going to listen to this. Wait, did you say 3+ million?
300 plus.
Oh, 3. I'm about to say 3+ million. That's LA.
Yeah, I'm like, that's just one city.
That is LA plus a little bit.
Yeah.
That's Chicago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. and you're talking about like the different cities in the country. Mm-hmm. You go from, like you said, LA to Chicago. Vastly different. I've been to both. Mm-hmm. Vastly different communities. And even within the city itself, still even more different communities, but a lot smaller of a place to have to deal with.
Yeah, less land mass, but the same number of people. And then you go to New York where you have even less land mass, but way more people.
Way more people, yeah.
So, I mean, but also cities tend to be hubs of progress, which is why you see, blue splotches where cities are. If you look on a map of voters, it's mostly red, but that's because the land is what you're looking at, right? You're just looking at space. People don't necessarily live there.
True.
Not everywhere in this country is occupied by humans. Most of it is, but the places where the humans are the most concentrated, that's where you see those more progressive pockets.
Right. Well, I was going to say, I've always heard that, you have Texas, which is red, 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 except for Austin.
Yes, exactly.
Austin is the blue spot in Texas.
And even Houston is fairly progressive. Yeah. I mean, it's not always red. Houston goes back and forth sometimes.
So Houston's a little purple.
Houston's kind of purple.
Depending on who's saying what.
It depends on the year and who's there and who's running, I mean, we've had, very close calls in recent years with some Democratic candidates in Texas. Because, people, not everybody, and there's a lot of major cities in Texas. And so, you've got a lot more diversity than I think people even realize just within one state.
Unfortunately, this one podcast is not going to change America.
Yeah, we can't solve all the world's problems.
I mean, I can hope that this hits that one person that has the power to do that. That'd be great. No. If you can, please help. But
yes, please.
Until then, for the masses that we do reach, get out there. Local elections count for things. Yes. Don't just think it's only the president. No. President starts somewhere, get to those local things, and then build up from there. Mm-hmm. If you vote in the people that are doing what you want, that'll trickle up. Trickle up economics.
Instead of trickle down, be trickle up.
It's more trickle up politics.
Trickle up politics.
Trickle up economics.
Well,
trickle politics.
I think it's because he's going after the military again. He failed the last time. He's going to fail this time again too.
You say that, but we'll see what happens. Here's the thing.
Because
I don't
the Supreme Court's already voted on that the last time he was in.
Here's the thing. I don't want that to happen. I don't. But Trump has stacked the deck in his favor so heavily.
But what the Supreme Court's ruled on, he can't override. That was the one thing. That's one of the things that was what the Constitution said.
Right. And how many ways is he trying to overthrow the Constitution itself?
He's been trying, and he's failed so far.
So again, that's the thing.
So far. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm honestly like, I remember during last year when everything was building up, they're talking about the whole Project 2025 thing. Was it
Project 2025?
Yeah. And how he's got this whole playbook of things. I haven't looked into it. Not because I don't want to, honestly because I'm scared.
I have looked at it, and I am very scared of it.
Very scary.
Yeah, like, I don't want to look into it because I'm like, I already have a low opinion of a lot of things that the country does, especially with politics. I don't want to look in it and be afraid as well as that, because then I'm going to say something to the wrong person at the wrong time, and then I'm in trouble. And I don't want that.
That's what's difficult too, given the number of groups that they're coming after. It's not just, trans people, right? It's queer people in general, right? It's anybody who doesn't fit into the quote unquote standard. It's women. Women are a huge target in general from this.
What's that say? Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah.
It's pretty much.
I mean, again, it's not that far off. Like, from what we're dealing with right now, they're talking about fetal personhood and all of this stuff that doesn't logically make any sense.
What was that? Fetal personhood?
Fetal personhood. So basically, what they're trying to create is a situation or a status in which fertilized embryos, basically, right? Zygotes, as they're referred to medically.
Right. So what you're telling me is things that don't even have an active thought process yet.
Correct. They are human beings with rights, according to what they want to implement, which means that they would need to be consulted somehow. But since they can't be consulted on what they want or what they need, then they think they need to speak for these fetuses.
I have words, but I can't bring them to mind because it's just a lot of yelling in my mind right now. Like,
oh yeah,
that is dumb.
There's been nothing but yelling in my mind for the last 10 years.
It's like, hey, you see that little dot on the screen? Yeah, that little dot there that isn't even a thing really yet. That has more rights than you do.
Well, and the funny thing is,
sadly,
I don't know if anybody's brought this up, but there was an executive order that was signed, on, I think, Inauguration Day or the day after, that said that
he signed so many things.
Your gender is the sex you were assigned at conception. No, not birth. Conception.
You don't know it.
So, no, we do know it. Okay, hold on. Let me correct you. We do know it, actually. All embryos, all zygotes
are females.
Are female. Are female. Yeah.
They all begin as female. So that means you are all women. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to the club.
So
we meet on Tuesdays.
Right. So does that mean that we are living in what is Wonder Woman's island?
Themyscira.
So is America going to be called Themyscira now?
God, no, because women actually are in charge there. But
he's saying
maybe one day.
Wait, also, what do we have now? The Gulf of America, and
that he's trying to,
and isn't he trying to make Canada a state now too?
Yep.
And Greenland.
Oh yeah, Greenland. He's trying to buy Greenland.
Oh my God. Oh, did you see Canada offered to take some of the states as additional provinces?
I did not see that.
Yeah, they said Washington, Oregon, and California as one province. And then I think there was Vermont, New Hampshire, and New York, maybe? I think New York as an additional province.
Wait, hold on.
As part of Canada.
Hold on.
I think it was a joke, but...
I was say that's not going to work. There are places in between those that...
Not really.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania's south of those places.
South of New York?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
New York is touching Canada.
Yeah, New York touches Canada, baby.
Oh, yeah, you're right. See, this is my American education.
Yeah,
Geography was
right?
not.
American education at work.
Actually, you know what's funny? I remember having one class in high school that kind of covered geography, and that was it.
Yeah, I think that was about it.
I want to say it was like not even a whole class, like a part of my social studies class.
Yeah.
I think that's all it covered. It's like, oh yeah.
I've learned more just from living in different parts of the country, right? I lived in
Yeah.
New York for 3 years. I've lived, I grew up in the Midwest, and now I've lived in Idaho and California in the West. So living in these places has actually helped my understanding and my knowledge of American geography tremendously.
Also, congratulations on making it out of Idaho alive.
Thank you. It was, it was actually, I lived there in 2020. So it was a time.
Oh.
It was a time.
Well, so what you're saying is you didn't even know the rest of the world existed.
No, I knew because I had TikTok, but but it was interesting, and I mean, I lived in a very progressive for Idaho pocket.
Progressive for Idaho.
Of Idaho, because I've always
Is that what, Boise or?
no, it was in Latah County, which is north in the Panhandle.
Okay.
I lived in Moscow, Idaho. Shout out Moscow. Love y'all. Go Vandals. And
for our Idaho listeners.
right, for our Idaho listeners, if any of y'all are out there, go Vandals. And it's a very different atmosphere in that particular area. It's not a city because that Boise is really the only major city there, but
The only major city in the entire state?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, not every state has a major city. They just don't.
I'm pretty sure every state has a capital, and that
They
could
have a
be
capital, but that
Boise
does
is
not
capital,
mean
dude.
that's not always the major city, right?
that does not mean it is a major city.
This is true.
Yeah. It's just not.
Well, it's like Los Angeles is not a capital, right?
It's not.
Los
But
Angeles.
it's a major
Sacramento.
city. So Sacramento is.
Yeah.
Is Sacramento a major city?
Yes.
Debatable.
Yes and no.
Here's
The
thing.
capital
Compare
of
LA.
Illinois is Springfield.
I'm aware of
Not a
this.
major city.
I lived in Illinois. I'm aware of this.
I know. I did too.
I was going to say, no, as far as California has several major cities
Several.
that are not the capital.
Exactly. And the capital is small by comparison.
Oh, yeah.
Smaller than LA.
Way smaller. Smaller than San Fran, smaller than San Diego, smaller than a lot of the cities.
Yeah.
So I mean, but yes, Boise is really the only major city in Idaho. And I mean, there's, surrounding suburbs that are large and things like that. And there's other towns that are bigger, but where I lived was not very large and not very densely populated. But it was a nice town, and, there was a lot of nice people. It just, it
They allowed you
depends
to
on-
escape.
Yes. It depends on where you are, right? And I mean, again, I left in 2021, so it was a different time. When I got there, it was 2018, so it was just very different.
So you got there before the world changed.
Yes, before the unprecedented times.
Yes.
I moved there during precedented times.
Yes. It always kind of fucks me up thinking, oh, there are children alive now that will have no idea how things were before.
I know.
Yep.
That will grow up with, oh, this is how things have just always been. It's like, no, there were other times.
Oh, yeah. There were very different times.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, listeners, I know you didn't come here for politics and a geography lesson, but you're welcome.
We're here to educate as well as entertain.
Exactly. Here, let's get back over to the actual thing. Let's see, where were we at? Let's see, that was politics. Okay, so before we get to the other listener topic, I just want to ask you guys. So, as far as kink in your lives right now, how is kink treating you? I like how nobody had anything to say. Like, it's great, or
I'm enjoying it, right? I love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I didn't want to. I'm just waiting for one of these
me?
two gentlemen to speak instead of me.
I mean,
are they just going to agree with whatever you say?
I
I'm not
talk a
gonna. I tried something new.
Oh,
At the done in social, and I actually loved it.
what was the new thing that you tried?
We did.
Sensation play and with a little bit of impact play into it.
What was the sensation? If you feel like sharing.
There's a lot of sensation. I mean, I think typically we do throw a little bit of sensation play into our scenes, but they're primarily impact scenes. this time instead, we were more focused on the sensation than the impact. Excuse me. And so it was just a different tone than what we usually do, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was very.
I mean, it
enjoyable.
it was intense,
Okay.
and I actually loved it.
Because there was a little bit more mental as well, right? There was a little bit more of a mental component because instead of, right, kind of consistently having that impact, right? When you're doing an impact scene and you kind of get a rhythm going and you're, having those kind of hits in a more consistent fashion, it helps you get into that sort of subspace by lulling you into it almost with the consistency of it, whereas we were being very inconsistent, and so it was more about surprising.
And I can't, and I'm blindfolded, so
Yeah, with the impact and having
So the lack of a sensation, so lack of sight.
yeah.
lack of sight, but also, I usually had 2 toys at once, like two tools at once, and so I might be just running one up and down his arm, and then I give him a little whack with a paddle, right? So it's like, right, there's different things going on at different parts of your body.
And the brain trying to...
so it was a little bit more mind games.
Okay.
And a little bit, like I said, there's more of a mental component to it than we typically do.
All right. Real quick. So, Inspector Gadget.
Yep.
I do remember at a certain point seeing you take Princess over to join in the fun and games that were happening to the side.
Yes.
Can-
Guess the toy?
Yeah, guess the toy. Can you give me a little bit more on that?
Well, yeah, it was. Unfortunately, she uses all the toys, so she knows most.
Unfortunately.
She knew it most of more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for who?
Unfortunately for the one who's.
Not for me. I liked it.
Well, the problem is you win the game too easily by that. So that's the where
Because the
everyone
other
else
ones
is
there,
struggling.
the other ones they were struggling.
Exactly. So
I don't think that I should be penalized
no, I think
for being a switch.
Hold on, real quick. Can you say specifically what the game was?
so. The game was basically guess the toy, right? So
Okay.
Princess over here was bent over, not able to see the toys, and they were used on her, and she had to say what it was.
Okay.
So if it was a paddle, she had to say, it's a
Which
paddle,
paddle.
or which
Which
paddle
paddle?
it was of the collection, which paddle it was, or which flogger it was.
Oh, okay.
And
Or
go from
other
there.
toys.
or whatever toys, or other potential humans' hands.
Yes, that was a
That was a surprise.
that was a wrench thrown into
Can't
the
make
game.
it that easy.
Because the rules were they were things that had to be used on me previously.
Okay.
And so, of course,
Those have been used on you
that
previously.
person's
So.
hands were previously used on me. And so I had to be able to, because I had to be able to guess, right?
Right.
You couldn't use
Or they
something
keep
that
it-
had
or
never
they-
been used on me.
Right.
Because I needed to be able to guess what it was.
Have some sort of frame of reference. for it.
Right. Exactly.
So, how long did it take her to go through the bag?
Not long, maybe
15 minutes?
15, 20 minutes total.
Yeah.
You mean like the amount of time that one person kept guessing on one?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Was it this one? No, not that one. Nope. Yeah, no, hers was like, it was this one. Damn it.
Well, see, it also what also helped her. She packs the bag also.
I do.
There's that.
So she knew what was already in the bag.
I pack it, I unpack it, you
Use
know.
it, yeah.
I mean, these are tools that I use on Bow Sub as well. So, and other bottoms that we've had the pleasure of scening with, you know. So, I'm very familiar with my tools. You know, there's also something to be said for, I think Bo could guess fairly easily as well.
I have done
he
it a couple
packs-
times when you use.
Yeah, he packs the bag as well. So, I mean, he doesn't use the toys, but he puts them away or he takes them out and sets
I've had
them
them
up.
used on me, so
Yeah, and he's had them all used on him. So, I mean,
So, Inspector Gadget, what I'm hearing here is you need to sneak in a couple toys that you've used before, but just kind of sneak them into the bag.
Yeah.
well, eventually they're going to get their own bags.
yeah,
We're outgrowing our one bag.
Yeah, our bag is too full now, so we need to have his and hers.
You'd have custom bags.
I wish.
I wish because there used to be an Etsy store. That's how I have my toy bag.
Oh.
It's a custom bag. It's like Awesome's awesome kink bag.
I love it.
But unfortunately, that Etsy store no longer exists. So I was looking like, man, I wish they were still there because I would get a different toy. I want to get a separate bag, like a separate custom bag for my rope.
Oh, yeah.
And I was
I
going to call
mean,
that
you can
awesome.
just
I was gonna,
embroider whatever you want on it.
that requires me to know how to embroider.
Well, you know, there's people in the community that can do it for you.
Yeah, there's people
You know a
who
few of 'em.
embroider.
I always feels weird asking people to do things for me because it's like they're not mine. So I can be like,
No, but you can pay them for their time and
Yeah.
effort and supplies.
sure, I can flog them for
Well, I mean, there's that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you
Trade
can do
however
tradesies,
services
or
you want
can
to trade
just-
for.
So we're
Pay
going into
them.
bartering now.
Or just pay them money, whatever.
Starbucks
works.
gift card, whatever.
Man,
you know.
money. I wish I had all that.
I mean, it wouldn't be that expensive. To
I know.
get something embroidered.
I was kidding. No, I was going to say because I want to get a larger rope bag, and it's called Awesome's Naughty Fun.
I love
Because
that.
right now you're the one packed to the brim.
Yes, it is. I even took some out and left it in the dungeon just for like, hey, people, use.
Right.
Here's some just to play with.
Yes.
So that was the nylon bag that was hanging up.
Yeah, that's the mesh nylon bag. Yeah, that's actually the bag that I got from. Wow, I'm blanking on where I buy my rope from. Not head nylon.
Gotcha.
Not head nylon. There we go. And so because for years I just would buy the grab bags they would do. It's just like separate, like little different lengths. That were
Kind of like the scraps, right?
Scraps, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I
Yeah.
did is I took all the ones out of my bag that were just from that and put it in that one. Like, hey, yeah,
Yep.
because go for it.
We should maybe do some heat transfer vinyl on ours.
Good.
Some what?
Heat transfer vinyl.
I am unfamiliar.
It's how you make like custom T-shirts and stuff. If you don't embroider, you can do heat transfer. Right. This is heat transfer.
Okay.
Right. This is different.
Just
kind
one
of.
more
This isn't
chapter.
vinyl, but yes, of course.
I know that feels like
Yeah.
I can go with one more.
Sometimes it's just really a good part of the book.
It's not a good time to
It's
stop.
not a good time to stop.
Your body's telling you to go to sleep. Nobody. I can take one
Right?
more.
I know
I
what's
can
best
take
for me.
one more. I know what's best for me.
Well, that's me at nighttime when I go to bed.
It's like, what do you
I'm
mean?
sitting there
Look, it's
reading.
2 a.m.
Right.
I don't need that much sleep to work.
Right. If I go to sleep now, I'll get 4 hours of sleep. If I go to sleep now, I'll get 3.5 hours of sleep.
Yes.
Anybody else play that game?
Far too often. Far too
I like
often.
to call it sleep roulette.
sleep roulette. All right, but anyway, we're talking about rope and
Yes.
such. Yes.
Rope and such. But yes, heat transfer vinyl you can use just basically iron on, or if you have a heat press or whatever,
Oh, and just put it on the
and
bag.
just put it on the bag, and then you can have it cut to say whatever you want.
True. Yeah, I need to get a new bag for that then. Because I need to get a larger bag anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or get rid of some of the rope I have, which I have done in the past. It's like, oh, you like that? It's yours.
Enjoy.
Yeah, because
Enjoy that.
Yeah, because I'm like, I know that I'm going to buy more rope eventually. And so
Right.
that's why I'm usually not so hard of like, no, it's my rope. No, hey, if you really like that, it's yours. Because I know people don't have their own sometimes.
Yeah.
Or they have it, but they don't have what they want. And they see my rope like, ooh, that's really pretty. That's really nice. Here, it's yours. Really? You mean it? Yeah, have it. And I'm okay with like bequeathing toys to people.
Yeah.
If it's something that I've had for a while, I've had my fun with and my use out of it, and somebody else doesn't, go for it. That's how you endear people to the community and to kink in general.
Yeah.
Being nice and saying, hey, it's mine. I love this. Now it's yours. I hope you love it as much. Like my original flogger, I actually gave to somebody about a year ago now. This was a flogger that my very first flogger that I went to a class for, and they were saying, hey, you can construct your own flogger. So they had already done the handles, the wood handles. They'd done that, but you glued on you picked the falls you were going to do. You glued it on, nailed it in, all that stuff. And so that was my flogger. That was mine for years, and I gave it away to somebody last year, and to my knowledge, they are loving it.
Nice.
So again, it's one of those things like, because I had newer floggers by that point. I don't.
That you were using more.
That I was using more often. It's like, hey, this poor thing is just not,
Neglected.
neglected wasn't where I was going
It
to.
just wasn't getting the love it
It's
deserved.
not. It's not in the rotation anymore. It's like, because I have better things. I've changed my style a little bit. That didn't fit the style of flogging that I was doing anymore.
Right.
So like, hey, somebody that's trying to learn, this is perfect learner for them.
Yeah.
I hope Buddy is treating them well.
Aw.
I name my floggers.
I love it.
Yes. All right. So actually, that kind of nicely segues into the next topic, which was a listener request for toy reviews. So what's your favorite toy to use or have used on you? What toys didn't really hit the mark? Which ones were just trash to play with? Anything that you can think of. So let's start with Bo, since he's the one that has all the toys used on him.
Well, my favorite so far has been the Dragon Tails and the Metal Flogger.
I'm sorry, the what?
Metal Flogger.
Metal flogger. Mm-hmm. So are we talking metal falls?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're chains.
So so a chain flogger.
Chain Flogger.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
like,
sorry.
I was like metal flogger. All right, chain flogger.
I mean, most of the toys Mistress has, I like them all, but those are my favorites.
Okay, so your chain flogger, because I don't believe I've seen your chain flogger. How thick are the links on it?
They're very thin.
Oh, okay.
16th of an inch, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Real
they're,
small chain
They're very
link.
small chains.
Yeah, get closer when you're talking, Inspector.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So what was the size on
Like
that?
about a 16th of an inch, maybe.
On the
They're light. They're not heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's not many of them. It's a fairly small flogger. It doesn't have a lot of falls, but
Once you use it a certain way, I love it. So
yeah, it's something that's really good for both the impact and the sensation because it's usually cold by the time I start. By the time I reach for it.
So do you put it like in the fridge or in the freezer beforehand?
No,
or?
it's room temperature, which of course is going to feel a little cold,
Little
especially
different,
if I've
yeah.
already been doing impact on you. Then your skin is warm, and so the flogger being room temperature, especially in the dungeon where it tends to be a little cooler.
Oh, we got you. There's so much body heat happening.
Right. I mean, sometimes, right? But even just being room temperature, if it's 70 degrees, that's 70 degrees versus your hot skin.
True.
It feels shocking, but also very nice.
Yep.
Okay. I remember early, like my very first year getting into anything actually kinky, went to an event and there was a gentleman who brought out a chain flogger. His were a little thicker.
Okay.
And because this is my first year, I had no idea that was even a thing. And hearing him pull that out, I hear the chain links going. It's like immediately like, what the fuck is that? And this is one of my favorite stories to tell. He's using it on his submissive and having a good time. And the falls separated from the handle.
Oh no.
Like mid scene. And so all you hear is a clunk clunk. And everybody in the room stops and looks towards, because they're like, that is not the sound we're supposed to hear.
Right.
And he took it in stride. He's like, he grabbed his falls. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he fixed it after that. I didn't talk to the guy. I didn't know him like that. But he went in, he grabbed another toy. And he's like, well, why did you break my toy? And just started going in with the different, which is usually how I think that's where I learned it from. That's how I go. It's like, if something, like if I lose some falls or something like that, like Man About Town did.
Right.
Right?
Like if I lose some falls, I'm like, why did you break my toy?
Yeah.
How dare you?
I used to have a crop years ago, like the first year I moved out here, first or second year. I had a crop and I was using on a bottom, and I'm using it. I'm like, wait a second, this doesn't feel the same. I look, the head had popped off.
Yep. That happens,
Happens
on
on all of
mine.
them.
All of yeah.
Hold on. Again, this is my first crop. So I look at her like, why did your ass break my crop? She's like, it didn't. It didn't. You were the one. I was the one that broke. Is that what she's like? She's like, It's been a joke for years. Whenever I see her, she finally admitted like 2-3 years ago, like, fine, I broke your crop. Like, well, good.
She has two crops, and both of them. I know that her black one. I've already it's come off twice. I'm using it
The
on me.
top pops off all the time.
But yeah, the top. But I was saying, no, the way that this one was, it was like, it actually like broke.
Oh.
That's why I was like, she broke my crop.
Oh wow. Yeah.
See, you
like
understand.
Your ass broke my toy.
Exactly.
How dare you?
Actually, I think I broke someone's toy a couple months ago.
How dare
Did
you?
you? Whose?
Not telling a soul.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Well, yeah, a screw fell out.
It broke.
Yeah, that
Technically.
was when you were getting your birthday spankings.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that person needs to reinforce it.
Yeah, I think so. I think they need to reinforce that paddle.
Okay, so Inspector Gadget, you haven't said much. So what about you? Favorite toys? Worst toys? Any stories with a toy that you like? I remember this.
Worst toys? Don't buy the reclaimed bullshit on Etsy.
Reclaimed? What do you mean?
Well, they oh hell, they were pink, so they looked cool.
They were pink, so they were cool.
So they were bought for princess.
Nice.
They looked nice in pictures, but they basically
What was the toy, if you remember?
There were several.
Yeah. They were all like reclaimed objects.
Like one was like a mop, like
a hockey puck,
with on a stick, like a
Yeah.
kind of like a tennis racket with a hockey puck glued to it. Like,
Okay.
It was very strange.
Yeah.
They looked different in the pictures.
Electrical tape was part of the handle.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Which, like, if you're making your own, like, if you don't have the money and you're making your own toys and you're being creative, absolutely go for it. But make sure that it's functional, right? Make sure that it's not falling apart right away after you use it, right? Like, work on it. And, I have nothing against using other random objects as toys. I think that can be really, I think that can be a really creative way to do it.
So those are called pervertibles.
Yeah, well, I mean, like an eye hook from the store, right? That you put in the ceiling. Yep. Those are great
or
for
meat
sensation.
Shredders.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's paintbrushes.
Paintbrushes
we've used all kinds of random objects for sensation play and impact and stuff like that. So I have nothing against that. But if you're going to sell them to other people,
make sure that they're functional.
Make sure that they're functional and that they look nice.
Functional, look nice, and actually can be used for more than a scene.
Right.
If that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like I have a toy in my toy bag, Patty, which is a paint stirrer that was painted green for a what's the holiday next month?
St. Patrick's Day.
For a St. Patrick's Day party that we had here. That we had actually, I think we were living here at that point. And that's been in my toy bag for years. I use it every now and again, and people love Patty.
I mean, those could be great. Yeah. I like a good paint stirrer. I like a good, what are some other ones? I mean, we've used.
Did I break one of yours?
Yeah, I think the small one.
I think I broke your small one. Maybe. They had that you had made with the little.
No, we didn't make that one. We received that one as a gift, but
you broke her gift, Bo?
Technically, it was Inspector Gadget's gift.
But yeah, pretty much. It was mine.
But no, I think it was just very difficult to keep clean because it had those little plastic circles with the spikes.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And so, the smacky stick.
We need to make a new smacky stick.
Smacky stick.
A certain sub here at the table, Bo sub, bled on it.
And we couldn't. So it's his toy now.
We couldn't get the blood off of it, so we threw it away.
Yeah. And well, that's the thing.
It wasn't the purpose of that toy,
right.
But it was very hard to hit somebody with those teeth without potentially breaking skin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had an experience. This is many years ago removed now. Which, hey, listeners, if you've been listening for a while, you may remember this. This is from like year 3 on the podcast. I think I talked about this, where I was doing a scene with someone, and I had a paddle with some little spikes on them, and I wasn't hitting super hard at all, but they were very, very sharp and very easily broke the skin.
Yep.
And I was like, oh. Well, first of all, the person I was fighting with had said, don't break skin. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to hit hard enough to do that. It didn't take much.
It doesn't take much.
And I didn't realize at the time. So as soon as I saw that, I stopped. I called the scene. Like, hey, this is what's going on. Pulled her down. We went back to my room because, like, hey, I'm not going to have you just sitting here bleeding in the play space.
Yeah.
But still, it's one of those like, oh, hey. This is now yours.
Yeah, exactly. Because we have Maticide, we have good cleaner to use on things, but because of the way that one was constructed, it was just not possible to get the blood out fully. Right. So we just chucked it.
Okay, I get that. So So let's see.
That was before we had the collection that we have now.
Yeah.
Everybody starts with something.
Everybody starts with
I
something.
started with Buddy. That was my first and only.
There you go.
Initially.
There's toys I don't like. There's a little rubber paddle I got.
That you got?
I bought it.
Okay.
And
It's like a slapper, like a tiny one.
I hate that thing because it's smooth on one side, spikes on the other. I just don't like the feel of it.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one.
So why'd you get it, Bo?
I just at the time I just wanted to see what it.
You want to experience to see if you did.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. Yeah, because we've had people, like there was somebody at the Dungeon Social that tried a new thing. And they tried it and realized almost to me like, hey, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. Actually, real quick, I want to step off of the actual topic. I just want to talk about the actual Dungeon Social.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys enjoy that? How was the atmosphere for you with that?
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was nice.
So, listeners, this is a new event that we have here in town. We still have our monthly play party, which is, everybody comes to, they play and all this. But it's a lot more, hey, the music's really up. You can't really talk to anybody while you're in there. It's very serious, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain decorum while you're there. The Dungeon Social is more of a, hey, everybody's playing, but the lights are up a little bit more, and people are actually talking, having conversation,
Or heckling.
Or heckling.
or heckling. Yes, and you go in with that expectation of, hey, everybody can see, hear, and talk while scenes are going on. Like for me, when I'm playing in the dungeon, like at a play party, I am focused on who I'm playing on. But even in my mind, I like to say I'm a showman. And I will look out to the audience to see, hey, who's paying attention to me? Did you see that? And I want to say something, but I can't because that's not the environment.
Right.
At the social, I can 100% like, hey, talk loud enough to whoever I'm playing with. Hey, did you know that you just did this? And all these people just saw it?
Right. Yeah.
Do you know how you look right now? Just going into, because they enjoy a little bit of embarrassment. And so that helps with that. As
Yeah.
opposed to having to get really close in at an actual play party where the music's up and they could or could not hear me,
Right.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think. It's definitely nice to have a more social atmosphere for an event. Where you're still playing and you're still able to, participate in your scene, but you also are able to talk and
Be more lighthearted.
yeah, be a little more lighthearted. I think for this past one on Friday, I was kind of more in the zone for for our mine and Bo subs scene,
Right.
just because we were trying something different.
Yeah.
All right.
And so I wasn't like when other people said something to me, I kind of just
You weren't really in there for that.
I
at that
wasn't
moment.
really.
And that's okay because
Yeah.
people understand that too. Like, hey, this person is in the middle of a scene. So it's okay to be like, hey, this is more of a social thing, but understand people are still scening.
Right.
They're still focused on what they're supposed to be focused on.
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully.
Yeah. And I mean, I like engaging with, the voyeurs and, our friends and stuff during scenes or, when we do, our spanking circle, we, enjoy being able to talk to each other during it, right, as part of the scene.
Right.
The tops usually enjoy heckling us as the bottoms, and messing with us and teasing us.
And that's
And that's part of the scene.
I'll say, and listeners, just so you know, if you're doing that, understand those are negotiated beforehand.
Yes, they
That's
are.
not just for you to walk up and like, ha ha, look at you. No, don't do that. That will get you removed very
Yes, it
quickly.
will. We don't like that.
Yeah. Because I know that every episode is somebody's first. So I don't want this to be the first like, well, on the Gotham Press Podcast, they said
This happened, and you can do
It's
that.
Snyder
negotiated
Princess
first.
said that we could heckle during scenes.
yeah, no.
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 Only if that is pre-negotiated.
Right.
Yep.
I'm sorry. In my head, I'm thinking of a scene. This is years ago now, where mousetraps were involved.
Oh boy.
Wow.
So the scene was you had the bottom who was blindfolded, and you have the top who had set out mouse traps all around the area.
Oof.
And the bottom was supposed to follow their instructions to get to them without hitting any mouse traps.
Damn.
So
That's a crazy trust exercise.
so it was
Mouse hunt.
Huh?
Mouse hunt.
But and they knew he was going to intentionally lead her to something. But the thing is, as the mouse traps would go off, he had somebody else resetting some of them.
Oh no.
It was super fun. It was like just watching the scene, because this was something like this was at a regular play party, but if this had been negotiated beforehand with the DM, like, hey, this sort of scene is going to be going on. This is the spaces they're going to be in. It may get a little bit loud. People may be talking.
Yeah.
So it was known ahead of time, but it was still super fun just to watch, because I wasn't expecting it. I knew the two people. I just kind of want to see what they were going to do because I enjoy seeing them play. And see, it was like, oh, that is just fucking hilarious because I've known both of them for years, and just seeing her just the whole time.
I would not like that scene
No.
as a participant,
Oh, I was
but
about to say-
watching it would be pretty entertaining.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Toes, no.
Yeah, no. I don't like being scared like that either. Like I don't like the shock.
the sudden,
Yeah.
the jump scare.
Right. I don't like a jump scare. It's not my
Okay.
thing.
Sorry to interrupt, but I heard Captain use a safe word.
Which safe word? No, actually, Thief, we were talking about your event.
Oh.
Yes, we were.
Your dungeon social.
Oh, the one with the no safe words allowed?
That
that
is
one.
not how that works. Listeners, safe words are always a thing.
Yes.
They are always respected.
If they are not, you need to leave.
No, if they are not, that person is going to be removed, and the person
No,
that
I just meant not here, but like in general.
Oh, yeah.
Because not everybody who listens is part of our community,
right. Well,
where we remove people who don't respect safe words.
my personal thought is every community should respect safe words.
True, but if you're playing on your own with
Yes.
someone not part of a community
Right.
event,
Gotcha.
then you need to remove yourself from that situation as quickly as possible if someone is not respecting your safe words.
Exactly. Message.
PSA.
PSA.
The more you know.
The more you know. All right. Let's see here. Did we have any more thoughts on toy reviews?
Yes.
What's your favorite toy to use, Princess?
To use on a bottom or to be used on me?
Yes, both.
Both and. So I really like paddles to use on other people. I think they are very fun and versatile.
Do you have a favorite paddle? The thought processing.
There's a few, I'm sure.
Well, we have a few paddles. I think my favorite is my JW paddle. It's a little bit lighter weight.
The warm up.
No,
No.
not the warm up.
Oh, it's the other one.
How about it's like, no, it's the other one, yeah.
So we have two JW paddles. One's a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, a little bit like thicker.
Yes, listener, she enjoys the thick ones.
No, that's not my favorite. I mean, I enjoy that one, but mine. So that one's Inspector Gadgets. Mine is.
Oh, so he enjoys the thick ones.
He enjoys the thick ones. You heard it here first. But mine is a little bit shorter, a little bit thinner, and lighter weight.
Okay.
And so I can just keep swinging it for, seemingly hours and never.
I can
my
attest
arm
to that.
Never gets tired. But it has a good impact, so I don't have to swing it that hard to get a good reaction. And then, you can drag it around their skin and poke them with it a little bit
Yep.
and use the side of the blade. There's just a lot of fun to be had with a paddle like that. And, it's big enough that you can get across both cheeks, which is always
Evenly.
always a plus.
Yep.
Oh, real quick. Listeners, I don't know if any of you keyed in on this, but the weight of your toy is important.
Yes.
Yes.
Factor that in. something heavier is going to tire you out a lot faster.
Oh yeah, unless you're really strong.
Unless you're really strong, or unless you just want that.
Yeah.
Just know that it's okay to get a lighter toy, because what that does is that extends the fun out for everybody. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sorry. Please continue.
So that's one of my favorite ones to use. Trying to think of my favorite to be used on me would probably be
Flogger.
those finger floggers from Thief's Touch.
Yeah.
That Inspector Gadget recently had made. I got a set at the tasting back in October.
Yeah, I think it was October.
Yeah, October.
Yeah, October. I got a set. Thief had a set of finger floggers that were black and pink suede, and they were just so beautiful, and I had to have them. I bought them before the event even started.
You served everybody else and made them.
I took her out and showed them to her.
Yeah, he did. Bo was like, "I think you'll like these," and I was like, "I need them. They need to be mine."
I need those in my bag now.
And then Inspector Gadget really liked them too, because we used them. We tried them out that night. Like I said, we try everything.
So you tried them out on him.
No, he tried them out on me. I tried them out on Bo Sub, but he tried them out on me, and he was like, "Ooh, I really like these." So he had, he asked, not had, he requested that Thief.
Commissioned
a set that were very much the same, but instead of black and pink, they were black and blue, and they're also very pretty, and
Same material or
same material. They're suede. They're also finger floggers. They're basically identical to
Yeah, just different
mine.
color.
They're just a different color.
okay.
His and hers.
And yeah,
Aw.
and they are some of my favorite because he can just really like go in on me with those, and it just is. I'm just like, yes, this is so nice. Like it has that really nice thud. They're soft. They are, you can use them separately or together if you want a bigger thud.
Yeah.
More mop-ish.
Yeah. If you want to put them together and make them a little bit more mop-ish.
Which I've done with many of my floggers. Just like,
Yeah.
like, how many of these handles can I fit in my hand at
Right.
once?
How many can I hold together at one time?
Yes.
And so, you with the finger floggers, it's easy to kind of pile them up together and use them together. And they're fairly full floggers. They're just very, I just love the way they feel in terms of the, not only the impact that they have, but also the texture of them, the ease of use of them. In terms of using them, I like to use mine as well, but I really enjoy having them used on me because they're like the perfect thuddy sensation. If you like thuddy, I highly recommend suede floggers. So nice.
So listeners, you heard it. Get some floggers.
Yes. Talk to Thief's Touch. Thank you very much.
Thief's Touch floggers. You can find Thief's Touch website in the show
Shameless
notes.
plug for Thief's Touch floggers.
And also on FetLife.
On FetLife and in the show notes and on the internet.
Most of our floggers are Thief's Touch floggers.
I can say, I believe, now that I no longer have Buddy, I think you're right. Most of mine are as well. I got one that Man About Town found for me that he got like last year at one of the local cons. Mm-hmm. There was a vendor that was selling these like little short, like whippy looking floggers. And he showed to me like, man, that's really nice. Did you get one for me? Oh, no. It's like, God, yeah. So then the next year at the con, he found that vendor again and got one for me.
That was so nice of him.
He even got me the card for the vendor. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Which I don't have the card on me, or else I would shout them out.
Oh, man. Yeah, we need a plug.
I will have to plug that next time.
Next time.
There's one of the floggers that I got at the Fresno tasting.
We have that one.
Yeah.
That's
a deer skin.
Deer skin. Yeah, that one's nice. It's
That's
very light.
That's a bunny.
And it's from Bunny Flogger.
Yeah.
And we have a few that are, because they're different, they're not like my chain flogger that Bo Sub likes. is not from, any particular vendor. We got that one at like Hustler.
The chain one.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. Yeah.
Sorry. So here's the funny thing. Like the bulk of my floggers right now are from Thieves Touch. And when I think about it, I think all the ones that I have from him were ones that he made because I had some other ones that either were falling apart or weren't quite up to snuff. He's like, here, let me see it. And he's like, here, try this one instead. So I have a one that I didn't name, but it's called Big Daddy, which he made to replace one that I had bought down in L.A., where I used it a few good times, and then the fall started coming out.
Oh, no.
And so I was like, hey, is it possible to repair this? He's like, here, let me see it. And then like a month later, he's like, here, try this.
Wow.
And then I had one that I call Carnage, which is actually, so have you seen the blue rubber flogger at Hustler?
No.
So I know they still have them because I've seen them, like every time I've gone, they've always had at least one sitting around. So I finally bought one to use and like, this is okay, I guess. And so I showed it to the thief. He's like, huh, okay. So he handed it back to me. He didn't say anything. Here's your Carnage, because I kept saying I wanted a Spider-Man theme to the floggers.
Well, 3 of them you have are all Spider-Man themed.
Yeah, no. So I had so my Venom he made, and the Carnage he made to replace the Hustler like rubber flogger one I had.
Yeah.
And then the Spider-Man one I have is just one that I'm technically still testing for him, because he's like, here, I got this material. Try this out as much as you can and see what happens. Which funny story, which I think I told on the podcast. I'm not sure. He forgot to do something when he was making that one, and the head just popped off.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
that was, I remember that on the podcast.
Yeah. It just popped off. He's like, oh, I know what I did wrong here.
Oh, boy.
Because he was working on several of them at the time, and he had sat that one down and then went back to it, but didn't realize that he hadn't completed what he was doing
that
before.
step,
yeah.
Yeah, so he missed a step, and the thing worked for a good while, and then it just popped out. He's like, it shouldn't have done it. Oh, I know exactly why I did that.
Yeah.
So he fixed it. So he's like, okay, I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but keep using it and see what happens.
Right.
So I've been using it since then. It's doing well so far.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Spidey had to be stuck.
Oh, no. Yeah. Carnage is mean.
I mean, for me, I got a few toys, though. Like, JW paddle, my paddle is definitely a favorite. All right. It is heavier. It's more of a thud than it is sound-wise, right? It sounds meaner than... Yeah, I guess
It actually is.
Yeah.
I'd say it's mean.
It's pretty mean.
It is mean.
I like how they both said, like, it's mean.
It's pretty mean.
But I mean, it's definitely got some
Hold
pump
on.
to it.
Hold on here. Is it mean to you?
No, it's perfect.
See, there you go.
I feel nothing.
You just feel your arm getting tired after a while.
A little bit, yeah.
Really not, though. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
even
it's
that
not that bad.
heavy. Like, again, those, because of how, like, the handle is a good size, but the blade of the paddle itself is pretty thin. And so it's really not even that heavy.
It's about half an inch thick.
Not even, I don't think.
No, it's maybe... It's a little over a quarter, but I mean, it's still not that bad.
It's not.
It's just longer, right? It's
Longer
and a
and
little wider.
wider.
You know what I'm going to have to do one day? I'm going to have to start asking guests to bring the toy bags so we can take pictures to post up on the Gotham Press page.
Should, yeah.
Oh, I was just thinking on the FetLife page.
Oh, yeah, on the
Yep.
FetLife page.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Well, yeah, no. I think for people like, yeah, here.
So they know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
they
For
have
show
some
notes,
context.
here you go.
For show notes, here are the toys that we were talking
Right.
about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
That, and then some of the ones that we got at the tasting, and those have actually been a favorite as well.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Bruiser,
The Bruiser,
The
definitely.
Bruiser.
the one I bought.
And the
Brat
Brat Tamer.
Tamer.
I'm sorry, what is the Bruiser?
It's a very short.
Purple.
It's made of purple heart, and it's a short and thick.
Oh, I think you
paddle.
showed
Like
me
about
that
an
one.
inch thick.
I think you showed me
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, that's
It's-
supposed to be. It's called a bruiser, but
Because it leaves a bruise, for
Yeah,
sure.
and
Yeah.
Wicked,
Even if it's just a short term
Yeah.
mark,
Yeah.
it leaves a mark, for
and
sure.
then we got those from Wicked Woods 805 on Fat. Her stuff is,
There.
the Brat Tamer.
yeah, there's some good stuff there.
Yeah, I
for
saw
sure.
some stuff from because they were at the tasting. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I saw some
Yes.
stuff from them. I wanted to like, I need money for this, and I don't
Right?
have it.
I know. If you're, I just want to have a PSA for everybody. If and when you go to a tasting, bring your money. Make sure you save up beforehand and bring your money, because there's usually people selling things, and they're very, very nice things. And you're going to want to buy them.
There's some stuff I want to buy from Surplus Canines, and I don't have the money for it. It's like, because he makes these nice cuffs.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's
I
on the
really
list
want
of things
those.
to acquire.
I know. That's on our list as well.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, money, why?
Yep.
Yeah.
Why have you abandoned me? Because of bills.
Right.
Stupid bills.
Stupid bills and things not being just free.
Yeah.
Just steal my money.
That's the thing. Listeners, if you're brand new to things, just understand, kink is not cheap.
No.
Kink can be cheap. It can be cheap up front when you're learning.
Yes.
Because that's when you learn, I can use this wooden spoon. I can use this other thing, a pervertible.
Spatula.
All these things. But when you really get into it and you really want to get custom things, it is not cheap. It is worth it.
It is
100% worth it.
100% worth it.
But it is not cheap. No. And do not go with cheap things just because, I can save a couple bucks. No. Go with people that are trusted.
Yes.
Like, if you don't have like we were saying, if you're not in a community, look at online reviews. Talk to people that have used these toys before.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I see that, you got this thing. How's that work for you? Where'd you get it from? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of vendors on FetLife as well. So
There are.
you can always look at the vendors' pages on FetLife.
like for me, like I said many a time on here, I use knothead nylon for my rope. It has never done me wrong. For my floggers, Thief's Touch are all my floggers at this point. I still have yet to invest in a JW paddle just because money, but still.
Yeah, but so good.
So I've heard nothing but good things about them.
And they're guaranteed also. So
Yeah.
I'm not a little, but I have dated littles, and I've gotten them steel wrap passes, and they love those things. So
They're so cute.
Yeah.
They're always so cute.
like I said, he talks to the people a lot about what they want to make sure that the one that he gets them is theirs.
Right.
Yeah. Here, let's move over. Let's move to our last thing here. The kink or fetish of the episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
Peakerism. Peakerism. Have you all read it already to see what it is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, who did?
I was familiar with it prior to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Do tell. Well, real quick, before you... actually, tell, what is peakerism?
peakerism is the deriving pleasure from puncturing others' skin. So whether that's with a sharp object, right? So whether that's with a needle or a knife or something like that, that's the enjoyment of puncturing skin.
Okay.
Specifically.
So the funny thing is, when I looked this up initially, what I saw was, here are people that are famous for peakerism. Jack the Ripper. And it's like...
And that is why I had heard about it previously. It was from, I can't remember if it was Criminal Minds or another show like that. But they talk about peakerism in an episode of one of the many true crime-esque shows that I've watched.
Okay.
And that is, they specifically talk about peakerism because that is something that was done to the victims' bodies, I guess. I don't know how to describe that well, but yeah, they were.
So what you're telling me is that after it happened, the killer got his jollies off, and then the autopsy, whoever was doing the autopsy, got their jollies.
Maybe, I don't know if that's why they became a coroner or anything.
Coroner, that was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, but they or surgeons, I don't know. You know what I mean? That might be an aspect of it for them, right? Or for people like phlebotomists.
Yeah.
Maybe they like that. I don't know. It's not something that I'm particularly interested in.
Listeners, just because your medical professional likes to poke and prod does not mean they're into peakerism.
Yes, don't assume.
Do not assume. They may be.
They may be.
And you know what? What is it? If they're secretly getting their kinks and it's not hurting you, well, other than the needle, you're fine.
I mean, consent.
Yes,
consent is important.
Consent is important. This is actually something I heard long while back. People that have foot fetishes that go to work in shoe stores, or people like with peakerism that go into medical professions where they can do that. They're doing it for their profession, but they're also enjoying it. As long as they're not like overly enjoying it, I'll say it's fine. They're doing their job, And
If
everybody
they're
should,
doing their job and being professional,
yes,
then yes.
as long as they're being professional, just because they are enjoying it, as long as they are being professional in the moment and not dragging you into their kink,
Right.
it's fine.
This is one kink I'm not into, so.
Yeah,
That's okay. Well, there are many kinks that many people are not into,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
absolutely.
Like I can think of several off the top of my head. I'm like, nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
I just don't typically get into anything with like needles. I don't like needles.
Nope.
You know, here's the thing. I'm not a huge fan of needles, but one thing I do every tasting, I always go to the needles like, here, let me see if things. I've tried different things to see. Hey, have things changed? I don't think things are gonna change, but if you look on my profile, you'll see that I've taken pictures whenever I have the needles done every year. It's like, oh, that looks cool. Yeah, not for me, but yeah, I'll try it again next year. See if things changed. Like, I didn't think I was really into doing wax on people, but when Cuddleluscious started up her Wholesome Wax Wonders, that first one I went to, I was like, oh, this is super fun.
It's so much
Wax is a
fun.
blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the first tasting I went to,
Well, actually, I'm sorry. Actually, technically, I had done wax before, and I kind of enjoyed it. And then I did it more. I was like, okay, the more I do it, like, oh, okay. The reactions are fun. I like the reactions that I
the
get.
reactions are fun.
Yes.
Yeah, I think wax is one of my favorites to do as a top. At the first,
Bo, what was that sound you made?
he loves bottoming
That was
for
excitement.
wax. It's one of his favorites.
Yes, it is.
And actually, Inspector Gadget likes bottoming for wax for me
Okay.
as well because
Yep, it is.
he likes that sensation. That's the thing about wax is it's a fun like sensation play, but I find it also to be very artistic. You know, you get to
I'm not that talented. I've
play
seen
with colors.
what people do. I'm like, man, mine is just splotched all over.
But that can also be very creative. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's if you want it to be, it can be a creative outlet, and I think that is
You just
a lot of
experiment
fun.
with it.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
I'll say one thing that I've wanted in my toy bag for years, and I keep saying I'm going to get it when I get the money, but then I get the money, and I'm like, other things I have to pay. I want to get a fire cup set. Because I've done fire cupping on people. I really enjoy it. I just don't have the stuff for it.
This last tasting was my first time doing fire cupping. I've done regular cupping before, but the fire cupping was the first time I've done it.
Yeah.
I've never done fire cupping before.
I've only done fire cupping, so it's like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah, I like regular cupping, but I've never done fire cupping. I think I would enjoy it though.
I did the tasting a couple of years ago when they the fire play, and I thought I was going to be bad, but I liked it. And then when they had the fire cupping this year, let me try it. It's sort of that sensation with the fire, but then you had the sensation with the cup.
Yeah.
You know what? You just reminded me. Somebody asked me. I cannot remember who it was, and I hate myself for that. But they were asking me, so on the podcast, have you guys ever talked about fire play? I'm like, I'm sure we have. So I'm like, not this conversation, but we're going to have to get Thief on because I know the Thief is very talented in all things fire related.
Really?
Yeah. So may have to get him on the next one or sometimes in the near future to say, hey, about fire. One thing he always says,
About fire.
one thing he always says, though, is fire is dangerous.
Yes.
Do not think that just because we're doing these things that you can do it.
Yep.
Fire is dangerous.
Absolutely.
I remember I told him about when I think it was my first or second year out here. I went to one of the luau's, and Master Bear, who you guys don't know.
I did.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys don't know. He and Greedy were doing fire play outside the pool where they light somebody up and push them into the pool. And I showed that to the Thief. He's like, no.
Yeah, that's super dangerous.
Yeah. Again, I didn't know. All I knew was, hey, these guys say they're going to light some people on fire and push them in the pool. Cool, let's do it. I did like twice. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. So there is a video evidence of this if you ever want to see on my profile.
But to be honest, they knew what they were doing too. So.
Exactly. They knew what they were
True.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, do not do that if you have not been trained to do such things.
And with also people around to provide rescue should you need it.
Exactly. Well, guys, I think we're getting close to that time. So, Bo, any final thoughts? How'd you enjoy your Your first time actually being on the Gotham Press Podcast.
Pop my
First time
podcast
caller,
cherry.
long time listener.
First time caller, long time listener.
Yes.
That was enjoyable.
All right. Any thoughts on what we can do better in the future now? More of you?
Stay safe. Pay attention to your surroundings.
Okay. Good deal.
That was ominous.
What he's saying, listeners, is I'm going to die now. Next podcast, Bosa will be the host because my funeral will have gone past by
Yeah,
then.
stay safe,
No.
Captain.
How about
It's dangerous out there.
how about you?
Hold on. Brats unite.
Oh, God. Cut that from...
No, I'm not going to cut it. I'm not that petty.
We have a Brats Council now.
What do you mean now? Haven't you
What?
had one?
We just officially now.
Officially now.
Why have I not been invited to this?
We just it just happened this past week.
That doesn't stop her question from being answered.
Yeah,
Because
that doesn't answer my question.
We haven't forgot to ask you. Sorry, mistress.
Oh, I see.
But are you really a brat?
I will not dignify that with a response.
You just did, mistress.
The look that she just gave to Bosa. Bo, are you in trouble?
Yes.
Big time.
So, hey, Princess, final thoughts from you. I mean, yeah, you can just moan into the mic if you want to.
No, I'm bad at I'm bad at final thoughts.
No, okay, listen.
Oh,
I will
I guess
cut. Hold on.
my-
Hold on. Okay, listen. I will cut that portion so she says, "Oh, I'm bad," and just let it be that.
That's my final thought. I would say my final thoughts are, given everything that we talked about today, if you need support in any way, if you are feeling unsafe, please reach out to someone you trust. There are resources available, and so just know that you are not alone and that there are people who can help you and support you if you need anything.
People who want to help.
People who want to help, yes.
All right, Inspector Gadget, what you got? Go Gadget.
Final thoughts. Let's say.
Go. Final thoughts.
Go Gadget final thoughts.
Go final thoughts. I don't know. I really like this Dungeon Socials. I mean, that's kind of the best thing so far. From a kink perspective, I think it's one of the new events that are up and coming that has been great.
Okay.
As well as, as a video game nerd, we'll see how the Switch goes. That's going to be pretty cool.
I'm hoping the Switch 2 is...
The only problem is I have to buy all kinds of new accessories because none of them will fucking work with the first one. So there's that.
Well,
You already have another Switch that you can play with.
I know.
she's
there's
right
that
there. She's right there.
That Switch is really fun, too.
I'm right here.
You're gonna have three Switches at home now.
Yeah, pretty much.
We already have 3 Switches
Oh,
at
you're
home.
gonna have
He
4
has a Switch, I have a Switch, and I am a Switch.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna have 5 Switches. You're gonna have to get a Switch 2 for both of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it can't just buy one. I have to buy 2 of
Well,
everything.
no, because what if he wants to play one game and I want to play a different game?
Exactly.
Or what if we both want to play each other, but from different rooms?
We'll play with each
I'm
other.
about to say, you mean play with each other? You said play each other.
Well, I
Both.
mean, it could be, yeah, it could be either.
So those are called remote toys.
I mean,
Which
we have
do
those
have
too.
those.
As far as final thoughts from me, as Princess said, yes, just know that, listeners, if you are in an area where it is not the safest or you don't feel like it's the safest, understand that you're not alone. There are lots of people out there that want to help, that are willing to help, and are eager to assist you in feeling safer than you may currently be feeling right now. As far as games, yes, Switch 2, I want one as soon as it drops. I may or may not have money for it at the time, but we'll find out.
You'll make it work.
I'll make it work.
It'll be fun.
I hope that all these reboots and sequels and weird things that are coming out are good. Was I good? And otherwise, just hey, hope you all really enjoyed another glorious episode of the Gotham Press Podcast. Thank you for listening, and with that, we are out.
Bye.
Bye.
So, yeah.
He had to be different.
I have to. It can't be the same.
Yes. Good times, everybody. Thank you all so very much.
This was interesting. It was fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Also, you kept banging your hands on the
I
table.
can't keep my hands still. I know it's hard for
And
me.
I'm
Okay,
like,
so for the future, bring handcuffs.
yes, next time I'm going to cuff you to the chair so that you can't fuck with the table.